How? Yes, we're back. And Richie, you got there. Go on. Bit of a panic attack.
I'll always do it.
Bit of a panic attack.
I don't mind doing it.
I thought my videos weren't working right before the show, but no, they're working again. Great.
Good.
So just myself, yourself, Richie tonight. We've got two of the lads in the green room as well. Anyone else that would like to join us as well, you're more than welcome. Here is the link. The link is in the chat. You might have seen it on Twitter as well. Come and join us. Have a chat. That's what it's all about. Our live line. So let's bring on our guests. So we bring on David first. Now, David, it's been a long time since David's been on with us. If you think you were with us back then, Richie, I think as well. We had David.
Yeah.
On
LFW,
Loaded Football Weekly. So, welcome, David. Welcome to Loaded Mag.
Even David, all right, mate?
Right, go easy on us. It's been a long time.
Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry if Mark was on.
And very true. Richie, you're probably wondering what is that arrow there for? So that arrow I put there because when people watch this back again and there's a little subscribe button comes up, it's now a red button, and if you click that red button, you subscribe. So the arrow is there. It should appear there if you're ever looking to subscribe. So
all right, I'm glad you made that clear. I'm glad you made that clear because I was actually thinking that's what you're predicting was happening at the end of the season.
Aha. No. I'd have another arrow pointing up otherwise. And we have some breaking news. Hang on. Breaking news. He's gone again. But I was going to say the Magpie's biggest fan was on screen there a second ago. We might get him back again. We'll bring on Carl and see can he join us. Here's Carl. Welcome, Hiya. Carl.
Evening, Carl. You all right, mate?
You all right?
I saw a glimpse of Max there, Carl. I thought he was going to make an appearance.
There he is, before he's going to bed.
Hey, Max.
Max.
Say hiya.
You all right?
Hey. Welcome to Loaded Mag.
Yeah, do you want to show the lads what you've just got today? Come here. Come and
show us.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Darlow.
Oh, that's class.
Oh, that's cool.
Signed as well, yeah.
Wow. It's not even Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah, just to top his weekend off.
Lucky boy.
Brilliant, eh? Right.
Nice one, Max.
Are you going to say bye to the lads?
Bye. See you later.
Night. Take care.
Bye, Max.
Oh, there's the star of the show. We're not going to top that now. That's the highlight of the show tonight.
Good night, Carl. Bye, Carl.
Right, see you later, lads.
Bye.
Right. What we normally do in this show is we ask our guests to come with a topic. So, David, we let you go first. You're with your first time on Loaded Mag. So, what topic would you like to bring to the table first?
I'll just keep it brief. It's just really for Thursday night. Maybe I'm one of the people who are actually quite looking forward to it. I'll take you back to 1995. Honestly, I am. 1995. I'm sure probably a couple of you, at least two of you, took the same trip to when I went down to Anfield on that night. And we didn't have any of the team. Watson was playing up front. And you're thinking, we're going to get absolutely taken the cleaners here. And I tell you what, backs against the wall. Watson did what Watson actually did, with lobbed the keeper. And you're thinking, well, unbelievable. And I think we have got a chance. Well, maybe I've got a chance to win. But he's going to have to make some changes. And a lot of changes, maybe I'm in the minority, but I would leave out ASM, Willock, Lascelles, for this game. And I have to be honest, I'm definitely going to get chucked off in a minute because I'd almost play Hayden or Hendrick in midfield instead of them. And I've said the second H word, so I probably will get peddled in a second. But you bring Fernandez back.
I think if you'd only said Hendrick, you'd have been kicked off the show.
I'm clinging on by my finger to here, Richie, I tell you. But I really do think I've got a chance. One of my main concerns, and I have to be honest, I still can't get my head around this, is how Mike Dean's going to be referee from the Wirral.
That's right.
And I know he's a Tranmere fan, fair enough. But I still don't get my head around how Mike Dean can be the referee of that game. I really can't. I honestly, that's when I mind you as well, we're getting out of him as well. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So that's a concern, I have to be honest.
There's not many would do, though, is there?
No, not this season for sure, or last season.
You're right. After Leicester, you're right.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and I see where you're going for there, Dave, because I think I was on the last show. Was it on the review show that I was saying, yeah, this is a free hit, and we were kind of saying maybe rest a few players, and I know Richie, you were aligned with me on kind of the Man United game was potentially something we could get something from rather than the next two. But yeah, so are you going with the back five there as well, David, in that kind of a lineup?
Well, I'm going to go with the back four, but I'm going to have Hayden. Richie.
Two defensive
Hayden,
kind of more.
Marquillo, Fernandez, Shaw, Lewis. Hayden just in front. You've got like Fraser, Shelby, Joe Linton, Almiron, who at least if he gets the ball could take some pressure off the defence with Wilson. And rest on the bench, maybe Willock, who hasn't been great. You got the Sells, who's actually, I don't think he's in the right place at the minute. He's obviously, they were saying that they might have deleted his Twitter page and stuff. So if he's not in the right frame of mind, I don't condone whatever has been sent for him to do that.
Yeah,
he's not playing well, and I just think he should be taken out as well as Willock.
Yeah, why not? It's worth the shot. And yeah, and Eddie needs a few ideas going into this one because he's up against it. But interesting.
Gloom, honestly, I think we could get a draw. I think we could get a draw.
Okay.
David, was that the League Cup game you on about when Watson scored?
Yeah,
it was a League
right.
Cup game, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, midweek game.
Call it was. Remember?
It was a screamer, yeah.
Absolutely, and then just lobbed it over the keeper and you're thinking, yeah, God, it's unbelievable, tremendous.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, that's an option for Eddie to go with. And I know you have a few more ideas as well, and so other topics you want to bring up, Dave. But maybe I'll flick it back to Carl then. Carl, what did
I was going to say that's before you moved on, just to touch on something that David mentioned about Mike Dean. Is it actually fair him being in charge because of his location where he lives and stuff like that? One thing that the Premier League do quite a lot is Anthony Taylor tends to referee a lot of Man United games, and he only lives a stone's throw from Manchester, but he doesn't tend to referee a lot of Man City games. So it is a questionable one. They're meant to be impartial, and I think having someone who lives that close to the home team or whoever, really, I think it needs to be a bit more impartial. To be fair, I think I would have rather have had someone like John Moss, for example. He's not the best referee, but he's at least halfway in between Merseyside and the North East. You could class as impartial, or even go for someone from down south, someone like Andrea Mariner, Martin Atkinson, someone like that. I just think it's an important game for us. You don't really want to have any potential allegiances. We're already going into the Anfield, which they're going to have the 12th man behind them in the Kop and the rest of the fans. You don't potentially want a 13th man in Mike Dean against you as well, especially when everything's going against us at the minute anyway.
Yeah, that was me sitting behind the screen either, do you? You don't know who's sitting behind the screens.
Yeah. The VAR.
Headquarters, whatever, fucking playing Gogglebox, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It could be Mark Clattenburg. You never know. We might get lucky.
We wish we might get some VR results.
Carl, we go to you for your first topic. So next, what did you want to bring to us?
Just the game on Sunday, and I was absolutely deflated when I got back on the bus. I just felt like everything was. I felt like we were going to go and get someone, at least a point. every result went forward on Saturday. I just felt like everything was with her. I had that many players out with COVID. You know, in the actual, I think who was the other kid out there? Luckman. They didn't even have to start Vardy. He was on the bench when he didn't even come on. I just thought, and as soon as Evans went off early, I was like, today we're going to get someone definitely today if this is it.
Oh, that's what I said as well. Yeah.
It just brought we're back down to earth with a fucking bang, didn't it? Like, I think it just proves
that feeling, Carl, when he went off. That feeling when he went off was like when Keane went off in the FA Cup final, and you're thinking, "Oh, we've got a chance," and it just didn't happen. They just didn't turn up again, did they?
I literally, I was all for it. You know, it was great because I had obviously, you know, I had the Bain there with us as well, so it was his first away game, and everyone was jumping, and the atmosphere was great. The fans were unbelievable, like absolutely unbelievable. Everyone felt like we're going to go and get something. But as per usual, the day was spoiled by the game. And I think it's a reality check, and it's exactly where we are.
Oh yeah, definitely, Carl. But it hasn't put Max off anyway. That's the main thing.
No, we're coming. I mean, I was deflated, really. I mean, to be fair, right? We got there. We're waiting in queues, getting checked, searched, and stuff. And it was about 5-3. I was actually worried we weren't going to get in on time. And the guy who was searching me said, "How you got your tickets here?" So I showed him the tickets, and he was like, "Oh, you're near the back." So I was like, "All right." He said, "Do you want to, with you having the Bain with you? Do you want us to move you further at the front?" So I was like, "Aye, if you don't mind, aye, great, aye." So they took me in. The steward took me to new seats. Were literally 2 rows from the front. It was absolutely brilliant. Like absolutely 2 rows from the front. The steward was absolutely fantastic. He said, "Are these all right?" I was like, "Yeah, happy days, fantastic, cheers." He said, "Do you want anything brought up at half time for the like?" I was like, "Brought up?" I was like, he was like, "Any sweets or like pop off for the Bain or anything like that?" I was like, he likes a kind of lager, like if you don't mind bring one of them up. But to be fair, he came back at half time and he brought one of them clappers for him. I was like, "We're definitely not going to be using that today, definitely not." No. But yeah, I can't knock the steward.
Especially on the bus on the way home.
Yeah.
But this is where it's going actually. So we're coming out. I was absolutely deflated. Me, like I was gutted. He was on cloud 9. Just thought everything was fantastic. Got it back on the bus. I cracked the can open, sitting waiting for the police to pull off and let us start going. And he just went. He was sitting behind us with our lass, and he just went, "Dad." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "I want to go to every away game from now on." I was like, "Oh, no." It's 4.5. Know what I mean?
It could be worse. He could have said he wanted to go to Leicester every weekend or every second weekend.
Tell you what, if I have to hear that music, it came on the radio on the way home as well. Every time the goal, when they score, that music comes on, the background music to celebrate. Yeah, it was just
on quite a bit at the weekend. But Leicester weren't at their best, but they were well able to see us off. Of course, the penalty incident though was the big thing that pissed everyone off.
The thing is, it's never ever a penalty. I think everyone knows that, but I wasn't as much bothered when I watched it back because I just thought it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Like, it was never. We were never ever going to get at the race. We were never going to get nothing out of that. We weren't at the races, and unfortunately,
I think if we got to the half time, we might have been okay, Carl.
Do you think?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think that penalty just. We discussed it at the review show the other day. It seemed to be that once they went down, the whole team just gave up and thought it's going to be a penalty. There was no. We said there was nobody protesting. Lascelles should be protesting. Look, it was minimal touches. Do you know what I mean? And there was just no passion from there. They were just resigned straight away that penalty
totally
was
right.
That there was no challenge on it.
You're totally right. Because for weeks now, certainly this season, like when decisions go against you, you don't see anyone going and arguing or like there's no G'ing up or it doesn't happen. And like David was saying, maybe Lascelles isn't in the right frame of mind at all, like to be to be leading the side. Maybe he needs took out the firing line. Maybe he
Yeah.
needs took out.
Yeah.
It would. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he's taken out for the next game because of what's happened. I think going forward, I've got a feeling that Callum Wilson will be our new captain going forward.
There was a
Yeah.
moment during the Burnley game the other week. I can't remember exactly what happened. It was in the Gallagher end because I was right in front of me, and I think they got a corner and it wasn't a corner, and Shelby went berserk with the referee, and I just looked at it and I thought, Lascelles, you should be in his face and going berserk, and you just don't see it from him, do you? But don't get us wrong, he's been what a captain he's been for 5 years.
Oh yeah, you have, and I think that stems back to the season we got relegated when he went into the Southampton dressing room, and the reaction he got, and that was no one had ever looked at Lascelles being captain material before that. That championship season, he was fantastic. He was fantastic under Rafa. I don't know if it was because he had that belief from Rafa. Do you know what I mean? But he's like a lot of the team have regressed so much under Steve Bruce. People have lost confidence. I think he's still in that mould at the minute, and because of obviously the position that we're in, any slight little mistake is getting pelters from every side at the minute, and perhaps he just needs to be taken out of it. We mentioned the other night. What's Fernandes doing wrong? We know that obviously there's something happening. We don't know what exactly, but you look at where he came in against Norwich. Him and him and Shaw were absolutely fantastic. Do you know what I mean? It was just he didn't deserve to get dropped. And for me, I'd be bringing him back in on Sunday. Take Lascelles out the firing line for a few games because the fixture we've got coming up, with the frame of mind he's in, it could just be even worse for us goal difference wise. We'd love to think we could get like a battle and draw like we did at Anfield last time. I know we lost when we played Man City up here last time, but it was a fantastic 4-3 game. I think it was 3-2, 4-3. But it was a good game. We were in it. With someone with his frame of mind, I don't think we can carry someone like that, especially if he's meant to be leading our team at the minute. So I would take him out and I would bring Fernandes back in. Just to have a bit more solid. He's quite vocal. He puts himself on the line a bit more. He doesn't tend to make those rash little decisions in and around the box like Lascelles done. I think Lascelles has been culpable for at least 2 penalties this season. I think we've given 6 penalties away this season in the Premier League already in 16 games.
Yeah,
the most in the Premier League. It's just we just need a bit of organisation at the back, and I think. Yes, okay, it was 1-1 against Norwich, but we had 10 men for 80 minutes, and we looked solid apart from a really good finish for Pukki. And I think you can know one little slight lapse in 80 minutes with a man down. It was about to happen. We've had that many lapses of concentration with 11 men all season. One which got punished, unfortunately. That's the Premier League. With 10 men, I think if. Yes, we would. We were hoping we were going to win Norwich, and we were probably a bit depressed that we didn't on that. But then, on reflection, when you played with 10 men against 11 for 80 minutes, should have still won it in my opinion. But scraped the draw. You probably would have took that if you were told that was what was going to happen. So, for me, I'd be bringing Fernandes and take Lascelles out the firing line. Wilson was captain for that game as well at Norwich because obviously Lascelles there. So that might be something that. Howe's leaning towards taking the bonus off Shelby a bit. Perhaps he doesn't see Shelby as a leader and would rather not have that burden on him, let him have just play his game in the middle of the park, perhaps. And obviously Wilson can lead by example up front, which he has been doing most of the season, especially with the goals he's been getting with. To be fair, he hasn't been getting a lot of chances this season.
No, and it's crosses into the box he needs, and that's something that hopefully gets improved when we delve into the transfer market. Before we go back to Dave and Dave's next point, something I forgot to say at the start, and I know Chris was in the chat at the start. So we've been baking again because it was Richie's birthday the other night, and it was Chris's birthday yesterday. So we had to bake a cake for Chris. So happy birthday, Avon, from yesterday. We put out all the stops here, loaded. So Dave, back to you. What was the next point?
I was going to say, Daz, do you want to just update the scores before? Because obviously there's a couple of Premier League games going on tonight.
Oh yeah.
Man City are 2-0 up against Leeds, and Villa have just taken the lead against Norwich. Obviously, with Leeds and Norwich around, this is probably the results are going the way we want them to at the minute.
We want that. That's great. Great news. Don't mind if City have a few players injured.
That's just me being optimistic there. The Villa one's won. That's just me being optimistic.
Dave, back to you. So, what was the second point you wanted to bring up?
As I said, no, I won't keep it too. The only point was, especially today with the news, like Aubameyang's been robbed of the cap. Well, I'm saying robbed. I don't think he was robbed. He was just stripped of the captaincy at Arsenal. And you've got like these other players. I really do think that Newcastle still will get a stellar signing this season. I just don't think they'll just go for run of the mills. I think there'll be one stellar signing that will come. And I really do think an 80 million bid for him, pay him 200 odd. I honestly think we've got a chance of getting him. You've got Trippier, and I tell you what, Dele Alli on loan. Wow. Even those three, as well as a defender, me even. Dele Alli definitely on loan especially, but Aubameyang centre forward. Oh, hey, have you got lined this up for us or something?
Yeah, then, you mentioned Trippier, didn't you? I don't have Aubameyang, but I thought the same as yourself, Dave, today. When I heard the story about him being stripped of the captaincy, I just thought, oh, cheeky little loan bid there. Now things are looking a bit rocky. Just for, I know he's a bit hit and miss at times, but he's still a class player. And then I was reading. I think it was, I saw it from Liam Kennedy, but it wasn't Liam Kennedy wrote it. It was from one of his sister papers that the reason he was stripped of the captaincy is that he went back to France, and there was a rumor that he went back to France for a tattoo, but it was actually his mother was ill or something like that. So yeah, he had a valid reason to go home. And I think he's done it a few times as well. He's snipped over, and he's like meant to be back a day early and rise a day late, and that's what's pissing the Arsenal off, and that's the reason why
he was meant to come back the Wednesday evening, but he actually got back literally first thing the Thursday, so he was back in time for training. But for some reason, the way that the Premier League COVID protocols work, he had to be back in the country on the Wednesday night for all the protocols to be met, and because he didn't get back to the country until the Thursday morning, it broke the regulations. So that's why he's been fined and the captaincy was taken off.
He's going to be happy, whatever. So I'd not be happy with that. I think it's a chance. It's like it's gettable. There's no point in putting your names out for other people really because they're not gettable. But he might be. We need somebody.
I think Aubameyang. That's been rumbling. Like, has it been unrest there for like maybe well over a year now? There's been bits and pieces for a while now, haven't there?
Yeah, I think
from what I've seen, like there's a lot of stuff seem to be coming out, and the fans don't want him there, and he's not happy, and it's been rumbling on for a while. I think that, hasn't it?
It's come to a point.
It's been since he got that contract, didn't he? He got that contract, and then as soon as he got that contract, his form seemed to dip. So people were just saying, was he just playing for his new contract? Because obviously it was his last big payday because of his age. I think one thing, if you're looking at Arsenal for possible transfers, I think we've probably got more chance of getting Lacazette on because he's got his last 6 months of his contract. Someone that we looked at.
If things are a bit rocky there with Aubameyang, you never know, Richie. I know that Lacazette was the name being mentioned before, but
I just think with Aubameyang, I do as well. I just think with Aubameyang, it's just you've got to look at these. We've already got one temperamental player in ESM, in my opinion. Do we need to bring another one in?
That was the other thing I was thinking.
Everyone's going to be fighting for the same cause at the minute. And at the end of the day, we've mentioned it a few times. Dave touched on it at the start when he was mentioning his team for the game on Thursday night. Would you drop ESM because he's been temperamental so far? He's, we've a lot of us on the show and people who've come on live line as well have stated that. He's been in and out of games, and when he's been losing, if the ball hasn't ran his own way, he's been whinging. He hasn't been trying to track back. I sometimes think, that booking he got against Leicester at the end, it was more like, I think he took the booking, made the foul, and it was more about like a point saying, look, lads, I tracked back. It doesn't really make a difference in the 90 minutes when you're 4-0 down. You know what I mean? You need to be working hard for the team, trying to get back, press and stuff like that, help you full back out when you're at 0-0, not just when you're losing 4-0 and you think, I'll just take one for the team sort of thing when it was pointless, really.
Fair point. Yeah, fair point.
Okay, I have 6 pictures of 6 players that we have been linked with up. Maybe I'll just bring up each of them and see what you think. Would you bring them in? Yes or no? Or our thoughts if it could happen. The first one I'm going to go for is Kieran Trippier. Would you take him?
Go on, Carl.
Without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. It's interesting to read the day reports that obviously some are claiming it's deal's done, isn't it? Some people today are saying that. I'll be surprised if it is. I just think I can see we're going all the way at the last week of Jan, and then we might see movement. Unfortunately for us, like that. I just think any deals, anyone who we're going to potentially bring in, surely that clubs aren't just going to accept the first offer what goes on the table. I can see it rumbling on throughout January to the point where we haven't got a choice, and that 15 million might turn into 30, or 25 million might turn into 40, or whatever. No one's going to take our first offer, surely.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want that to happen. That it goes to the last week in January. We need them to in the first week in January and hit the ground running.
It's a difficult
get the
window,
deal done now,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's how desperate. How desperate are we?
Very.
Obviously, we are desperate. Yeah, but it's a case of other clubs know how desperate we are, so they can just hold out and hold out and hold out and hold out till the point where we say, right, how much do you want?
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
I really see it going to the last week.
I don't, Carl, and I'll tell you why I don't think it'll go last minute. Because in January we've got Southampton, Watford, Leeds, before you've got Everton and Villa.
Yeah, so the run goes well again, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I would prefer to have. I think they'll think, what have we got maximum chance of getting more points if we make the deals at the start of the window than at the end of the window? There's too many points there against teams that are beatable to miss up. We can't afford to be giving like games away. I think there'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple in before the Cambridge game. Southampton might be pushing it too much. I think that's that's the Sunday the 2nd. So obviously it's the weekend, and it's the bank holiday weekend with New Year's Day. There's going to be you're going to have nobody in. Paperwork might be done and deals done, but obviously you're not going to be registered in time for that game. So you possibly look at the Cambridge game, get them in for that. Possibly give them a run out against Cambridge just to get match fitness up if they haven't been getting games. With proviso of looking at the Watford game to get them up and running, sort of thing. So if we can get 2 in before then, I think it just boosts the squad straight away. It'll boost the fan base as well, around the training ground as well. If they see some of the faces, say for example, if Trippier is lined up, that the boost that'll give round to the camp at the minute, having an England international coming in, it's just going to lift the crowds, it'll lift the atmosphere of the whole club, training ground. Everywhere, because you're bringing it England national to the club. We haven't had an England national our club for a long time, so that just lifts the bar.
And of course, with Trippier, Howe spotted him and signed him for when he was at Burnley, so that there is that connection there with Howe. So, Dave, would you bring Trippier in?
Absolutely, even just for his dead ball situations outside the box.
Yeah, crosses.
But to say that, absolutely, without a doubt, he's got to. If he can get a chance to come, he's got to come.
Cool, great. Okay, the next player I'll throw at you then is Lloyd Kelly, who is at Bournemouth and worked with Eddie Howe as well. So is he someone you? I don't know an awful lot about him, to tell you the truth, but is he someone? Does anyone know anything about him? Would you consider bringing him in?
I actually watched the podcast. I watched the podcast with a couple of Bournemouth fans a week after the appointment was made with Howe, and they mentioned him. Then they were really worried that Howe was going to come in and take him. I don't know enough about him. They actually said that they were worried that Howe would definitely come for him. I don't know enough about.
I know Liverpool have been
highly of him.
I know Liverpool have been have had an interest in him. So, is that just for potential, or is it for backup, or what? You don't know. But I think when Klopp looked at Lewis, didn't he, originally before we got him? So he's got a good eye for a player, Jurgen Klopp. So if he's looking after him, there must be something about Kelly. But apart from that, I don't know much about him. I haven't seen much of him in the Championship or when he was in the Premier League before. So
I think they bought him for 13 million. I'm just reading Wikipedia there now. But
I know he came from Bristol City and he played for the England under 21s and stuff like that. But as I said, I haven't seen anything about him, so I don't know much to comment.
We'll move on. I'll go to someone more a bit closer to home that we all know about, Dele Alli, and Dave, you touched on him. We'll let you go first here, Dave. Would you bring Dele Alli in? Would you risk bringing him in, maybe even on loan, if Spurs do business with us? Daniel Levy, of course. So would you take a punt on Dele Alli?
I think he's got an awful lot to prove, and really, I think he could have maybe not the goals, but the Willock effect coming in now. It's on loan, so that's how I would see it, on loan rather than buying him.
Yeah.
I just think, well, there's nothing to lose. He's better than a lot of our midfielders, and unfortunately, I would say he's better than Willock at the minute. And I think Willock's very good. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Willock. If I'm honest with you, I really don't know. I think Richie or Martin made a great point. I'm not quite sure who it was in one of your other programs, saying how they've been promised a start or a good start at Arsenal if he'd come back from Newcastle, and you kind of think, well, if that's what he's done. But I'm not anti-Willock. I think he's a very good player and he deserves his chance. But Dele Alli could have the same effect as he had for us. Maybe not the goals, but just the know-how that we don't seem to have at times. As good as Shelby is at the minute, I just think he would also be very, very good for us. That's how I think it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think, Carl?
Yeah. If you remember, before Spurs moved to that new stadium, and Dele Alli and Harry Kane were banging them in every single week, and he was being touted as 60, 70 million quid. Who were the one potentially knocking bids back? There's a player there, isn't there? Definitely, and as Dave said, he's got something to prove. Yeah, he has to have something to prove, surely.
He's just put on there. He's lazy. Well, yeah, he is lazy, but wouldn't you think before Howe came, Shelby was lazy?
Yeah,
Shelby's
yeah.
Is he anymore? Howe's got a hold of him. So
yeah,
Dele Alli at the minute is lazy, but Howe hasn't got a hold of him yet. So, in my opinion, Shelby was lazy, but he's not now. So let's give him a go.
I tell you what, lads, the podcast what I was talking about before, when I was talking about the three Bournemouth lads, basically they were saying that Howe will literally drag every last bit of percentage of work rate out of every single player who's there. He will get absolutely everything, every last bit out of every player. And if you're not willing to work, then you won't have a future at the club, basically.
Yeah, good point, Carl.
I think the Dele Alli. Oh, God, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry, it could be a delay on my side. But the other thing I was going to say is that I heard it somewhere as well. It was on some show somewhere that Alex Ferguson recommended. It must have been the Tottenham Amazon documentary thing. That Alex Ferguson recommended buying Dele Alli, bringing him to Man United at one stage. He rated him that highly, so he knows how to spot a player as well. It's just that in the last 2 years, let's say he has gone downhill. But and as David said, though, he has a point to prove. So I'd take a risk on him. You'd have to weigh up all the options that are available to you. But
it is a risk.
You're running,
it is a risk. It is a risk. You're right. It is a risk.
Yeah. But on loan, is it? He's not going to be there next season. If we go down, he's not going to be there.
No.
Start a championship season, is he? So,
I think the thing that you've got to remember with Dele Alli is, I don't know if many of you remember this, but he was pretty much nearly enough signed on the dotted line for Newcastle when he was at MK Dons before he went to Spurs. It was only when David Pleat had made a big plea to whoever was in, I think, whoever was it Arneson who was director of football or something at Spurs at the time, and he says, you've got to sign this kid, and then obviously when they came in, he decided to go to Spurs rather than. I think I can see both sides of the argument. I agree with what Marty said. off current form, is it worth touching him, sort of thing?
Right.
But at the same time, it's, you know what he can be capable of, and perhaps he's just gone stale and stuff at Spurs. You don't know. You might just need a change of scenery to get the best out of him. You know, he'd probably be guaranteed, if he was firing on something, he'd be guaranteed to play each week for Newcastle. And that could put him back in the England reckon, because obviously he slipped down the pecking order there as well. And obviously with the World Cup coming up next year, you know, you might think, right, is it worth me, you know, taking the step for 6 months to see whether, you know, I can force my way back to the England reckon by giving me all for Newcastle, keeping them up and moving them in the right direction. But I think my only concern is which Dele Alli you're going to get, and that's possibly why I might not touch him.
No, fair comment. No,
Yeah.
Yes, he's better than what we've got, hands down. It just depends on whether he's in the frame of mind to help us out.
Yeah, he'd be further down the line. If we got to the middle of January, we didn't get our first targets, then he'd be, because we need to bring someone in, or a bunch of players in. Okay, I'll go to the next one. Next one is and I'll just my description of this guy first. So Sven Botman. Okay, the Dutch centre back who's playing for Lille. Just Chris Hall sent us a clip of him as well. Tall centre back, left-footed, looks solid. Something that we definitely need now. If the thing, well, if we went for him, you're talking about 40 million, or with other clubs, all the bigger clubs would eyes would light up, I'm sure, as well, if he became available. So that's the kind of danger if we're going to go for someone like that. But do you know much about him, lads? Any thoughts on him?
For me,
do you know anything about that or not?
I've seen him play. Dan's just hit the nail on the head, isn't he? He's solid, but is he any better than the two at Burnley? I'm not so sure. For a bit lot cheaper.
Well, he's younger anyway. Is it 21 years or something like that, Rich?
He's 21, yeah, and he's 6'4", plays for Lille in France. Which you know might not jump off the page with you, but what you've got to remember is Lille won the Ligue 1 last year. So he's obviously been playing up against Mbappe quite a few times, Neymar and all that sort of stuff. He's a Dutch international as well at 21 as well. He's a bit like Shaw. He's comfortable on the ball for 6'4". He likes to bring the ball out from the back. So he's probably, you know, if you want to have an alternative on the other side from Shaw, and you want to like have a solid one on the right, for example, rather than Shaw, he's a much better player than Shaw, obviously, even though they're both internationals. And as I said, he's absolutely a menace in the air, 6'4" as well, which I think is something we lack. We don't really have any big centre halves, and the fact that he can play football is tremendous. But he's got Champions League experience as well. I know Chris Hall, when we were talking around our WhatsApp chat, he was saying, "Can you imagine playing him with Van Dijk?" And I said, the only problem you've got with Van Dijk being alongside Botman is you've got De Ligt as his partner at the minute, and De Ligt's one hell of a centre half. So if you're the reserve to Van Dijk and De Ligt at Holland, you must be a decent centre half.
Yeah, and I'm just sorry, Carl.
I think that it's clear the way the side's going to go under Howe is you've got to be able to go, obviously be a good defender, but you've got to be able to play football, and you've got to be able to play out from the back. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, you're not going to make it in the side. Lascelles is the perfect example of that.
He tried to bring the ball out a couple of times against Leicester, and he was a nightmare. He did it in the first 3 minutes or something. I said the other day. No, he can't play football.
To be fair, Shaw's the only one there who can, and Ammo's on eggshells whenever I see him bring the ball out. I just think he's always. You just feel like it's going to happen. He's going to get caught. He's sold, and he's the best we've got apparently. So
he's one of those, isn't he? You're right. You start when you see Shaw get the ball, you're like, what are you going to get? Are you going to get that wonder goal against Cardiff that he scored? Or is he going to lose it on the halfway line and put you in, or is he going to lose the ball on the halfway line and put you in the shit?
Yeah, Leicester clearly spoke about that game plan of allowing them to have the ball at the back and then literally press them as soon as they get the ball, press them. What was the word they used in the post match? Was it, did Madison say we set the trap or whatever? Or so
yeah,
they clearly
Roger
spoke
said
about it.
Yeah, Roger said they laid a trap.
So literally any good team they're coming up against now, they're going to be saying to allow them to have it, you know. I suppose we're going to have to start thinking of, I don't know, do we go back to route one and not try to overplay it or what? Or
that's for Eddie Howe to sort out.
Danger. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think the one thing we've only got Shaw who can play the ball out properly from the back and actually play football. I just think it could be the fact we need to move the ball forward quicker. Try and not let the centre halves and the full backs dwell on the ball. If we can, 1-2 touches, spread it wide into space, or put it into. Even if Shelby comes a little bit deeper, I'd rather have Shelby on the ball than one of our centre halves, because Shelby's more comfortable on the ball, he can spray it and stuff like that. So I just think it's getting that through that transition to the midfield quicker rather than dwelling on it.
Richie, if we go from the back on Thursday night, I tell you what, with them 3 run numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, God.
It won't be pretty.
Yeah.
It won't be pretty.
Do you not just hope that there's going to be a COVID case in the northwest, and the Manchester United one's going to go on to Man City and Liverpool. We have a couple of games rearranged till there. We've got a few new signings in.
Could happen.
Can we start this thing again? Can we start again? Because I've just said we might get something out of Thursday night. Richie and Colin said there, I'm thinking, what's on earth?
We'll go live now in a second, Dave.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
practice run.
It's pretty shit what's going on with COVID back again and Omicron crap and all that stuff. But hey, it might just save our fucking season if Omicron kicks it in big style. Like, it's a bad way of looking at it, but it could save our season if we have we end up with a few weeks off.
No, you know what, Carl? You can guarantee with the luck that we've had this season, we'll be the only team that doesn't have a game affected, and we'll probably lose the ball knowing our luck.
Yeah, you've got 4 goalkeepers in your squad.
Hey, you're complaining that COVID is. You're complaining that COVID is back. It never went away over here in Ireland. The restrictions never they reduced a bit, but they never fully lifted, and now we're back in the same place again.
To be fair though, there is a chance of the game's getting called off, because I think on Talk Sport this afternoon they said there's 43 cases of COVID being announced in the last round of testing, which is the most they've been ever since the pandemic broke.
It may just play into our hands, where you might get this Liverpool game out of the way, and they might turn around. They might have another, they might have 2 weeks. Look, let's just stop everything for a week or two. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Yeah.
Good point there.
Let's do it for tomorrow, shall we?
Aye.
A good point there from Jordy, Tune for Life. Would you play Willock in the number 10 role? And that's where he kind of excelled last season. He was number 10, but kept breaking into that kind of position. But he's not even getting close to there this season. So it'd be an option. I'd give him a run out there, just to maybe get his confidence back some way.
Yeah.
They're not going to have much of the ball Thursday
That's
night,
the only thing.
So.
Yeah. It might be better off to rest him for but maybe consider that option for one of the upcoming games. Maybe against Man United or something like that. Let me see. The other player I wanted to throw at you lads, and someone, Richie, we've kind of talked about already, so we'll hand them over to Carl and Dave to dissect. Would you take Jesse Lingard?
Carl, over to you.
Yes, 100%. But I think West Ham I think it'll be a chase for us and West Ham, whoever gets him. Yeah. And I would say after he's already been to West Ham, I would say he's pretty much nailed on going there. That's what I think. I'd love him, but I
can't see it happening. The danger.
I think it's West Ham all over.
But wasn't that story that his agent or something or someone came to watch Newcastle's game sometime? That's a strange one, but I agree with Carl. Once he's been there and did so well for West Ham, it'll be a tough gig to prize him away from West Ham. But wonderful if he would come. Wonderful.
I think he was pretty desperate for that move in the summer, and I don't think they could agree on the fee, could they? So
no.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see how it plays out. Before we go on to the next topic, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, to Black and White Army, the limited edition collection, and go to blackandwhitearmy.com. And I'll put the link scrolling across the bottom as well in a few minutes. Of course, this is Bronwyn's brand, and it's for just for December till the range sells out. They have kids denim jackets, t-shirts in black and white, and she also has hats in black and white as well. And some of her merchandise is selling out though, so get in there quick if you want to get those last remaining items.
Yeah, I think it's all the bobble hats have gone, Daz. It's just the beanie hats that are left now.
Ah, cool. And she's going to be back with a new collection in the new year sometime. And she's going to come back on and tell us all about it. She wouldn't even tell us the name the last day. So yeah, so that will be interesting. Okay, want to go on to, let's ask the question. We have, okay, as we've been talking about, we've got Liverpool and we've got Man City coming up, and then of course after that we have Man United. So over the course of the next 3 games, we've answered already, Rich. What guys? What do you think points wise we'll get? 9, 0. What are you having?
4.
4 from Dave. I take that straight away.
We'll draw against Liverpool, get beat against Man City quite handsomely, and beat Man United.
Beat Man United?
No, we will beat Man United.
Oh, sorry, we'll beat Man United. Okay, yeah, sorry. Now it makes more sense.
This is coffee, by the way. I'm going to go watch the longest cup of coffee I've ever had, but I've got like 3 cups here. So, but yeah, I'm saying 4 points. I reckon.
4 points. Carl, for what do you think? What would Max think as well? I know he's gone to bed. What
Max would want Darlow brought back in for Dubravka. Maximum probably in every single position because he's obsessed with him as well. And John Joe Shelby, he loves him. So, but yeah, I don't think we'll get anything against Liverpool. I don't think we'll get anything on. We might scrape a draw against City. Do you know what it is? No matter how bad we are, I always have a feeling home games will go and nix. We can always capable of getting something against anyone at home. I just think with the crowd behind them that we are literally the 12th man. And I honestly do. I think what Dave said. I think they're capable of getting something against Man United. Definitely a win. I wouldn't write off getting something against City. That Sunday was probably the worst performance under Howe, obviously so far. I think the home games are going to be so important, crucial. I don't think we'll get anything against Liverpool, but I can certainly say we're getting a win against Man United. Maybe nick a draw at City. Against City, maybe not. 3 points. I'd say 3.
3.
There's just something. I just always feel like with the crowd behind them, they're always capable of. It doesn't matter who they're playing at home. When the crowd's jumping, bouncing, unless you're Graham Souness, it's not a proper club, obviously. They're always capable of nicking something at home.
I'd delete my video. Sorry, Carl. I would play it again for you, but I deleted it. So 3 for Carl, 4 for Dave. I said 3 as well. What you said? I think you said 3 as well, Richie.
No. Off those ones, but I did say 6 originally, but obviously that was before the debacle. Yes, no, I said 6, but I was including the Leicester game.
Right.
But obviously that was But I think we'll get 3 against Man United. Obviously they've got the COVID cases there. And to be fair, they were bang average against Norwich, and it took a Ronaldo penalty to get the win there. So just depends on obviously how severe the COVID cases get down there. But to be fair, I haven't been impressed with Ranić since he's went into Man U. I don't know if it's just because there's too many personalities down there, and obviously he's having to battle with them at the minute and try to fit them all in. I don't know, but they've been really poor over recent weeks. So hopefully that continues until the Boxing Day fixture.
Cool. Is there any other topic you wanted to bring, lads?
I'm happy to let somebody else have a shot if I Let somebody else come in if somebody else is waiting.
No, there's no one else there in the green room, Dave. So you don't get away that easily.
I'll bring one more thing in.
We'll bring one more. Yeah, go for it.
This is like, as you say, well, you're going to buy somebody and you don't believe it until they're on the pitch with a scarf. But look, there was that football transfer Twitter tonight, and it said how we'd agreed a 10-year sponsorship deal with Aramco for £62.5 million. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if that's after what's happened with the Premier League today, if that's the kind of investment that we're going to get, it is very exciting times. It really is. And honestly, we just need to be. I did think that Howe would have a better effect on the scores, but I think maybe he's just a little bit privately shocked about what he's seen when he's coming. He can't say it, but I just think he's thought, God, they're not fit enough. I thought they'd be fitter than this. So, and Martin made a great point the other day on Twitter, and he went, we're a championship squad, a premiership squad, but championship really in name only. And you just think, you are right. So I think...
Don't tell him that, though.
Just keep positive, because you know what? It's not as bad as it looks on paper. It's not.
No, and the squad was severely lacking in fitness, and it's taken a while to get them up to speed, and then it's the quality as well. And improvements in.
You fools, Daz.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it's probably my internet connection. Yeah. So. Yeah, I was just saying that individually they're getting a bit better, but one by one, I thought. Okay, we noticed the big improvement in Joe Linton and in Shelby. Miggy, I thought was very good in the first half against Leicester. He was the one that shone for me, and then he had to take him off to try and switch it up. But if he works on them one by one, but we are running out of time. We don't have time for that. That's the only thing with that strategy as well. But he has to do something, and he needs to reinforce.
I think the interesting thing, Daz, I would like to have seen a full pre-season under how would that affect the squad that we've got. Because I think it's been said a few times that one of the things that Eddie Howe and his staff like do is try to gain an extra 1% each week out of the players. So obviously, if that's something that can happen every single week, and if that happened from the start of the season and pre-season, hopefully would never have been in this mess. But obviously, we all know what Mike Ashley in the previous regime were like. They never like to do anything fast or make a decision or pull the trigger or anything like that, and just plod on. I don't think we'd have been in this mess if we made the Howe change in, like it was rumoured that we're going to do anyway before the takeover went through earlier in the season, perhaps even the pre-season.
Cool. Going back to Eddie Howe, what Dave said, I think it's a blessing in disguise that we didn't get Unai Emery. I really do think it's a blessing. I think, let's face it looks like we are going to go down regardless of what happens in January. But if Unai Emery had came in, I guarantee he wouldn't have been he will not be hanging around if we go to the Championship. No, I'd like to think maybe Eddie Howe is going to show a bit of loyalty and stay. No one knows, obviously, but I would love to see him stay if we do go down. Because I do generally think that it's a blessing that we got him over Unai Emery.
I'd agree with you, Carl, because I think Emery would have come in and gone, what do I do with this? At least Eddie Howe had a game plan. He knew what he was walking into, whereas Emery probably didn't really, if it got that far, for him. But it would have been a total change of direction from going from the Champions League with Villarreal to Newcastle and. Yeah,
I mean, let's face it. We're talking about Eddie Howe staying, and if Unai Emery would have stayed, we're talking there before about Trippier being pretty much a done deal according to reports. If we go down, Trippier's not going to be playing for us in the Championship either. So he's got the World Cup, like I think Richie mentioned it earlier. He's got the World Cup in November. He's going to be wanting in that England squad, and he's not going to be staying with us if we go down. So it doesn't matter who we bring in January. I'll be amazed if any of them stop if we go down. Amazed.
And a good point here from Gary as well. We are only at the moment 3 points from safety. Now that may increase as over the next 2-3 games. depending on not how the other sides do. Obviously, that's how it works. But look, we are a few good players in early in the January transfer window. Things can turn around. Like, and we're not going to be playing Liverpool, Man City every week, so it's not over yet. I know it's not looking good, but it's not over yet.
January is going to be the big test for the owners, isn't it? I'd hate it. I think the fans have given them a lot of slack over the Emery thing, and then you're seeing a bit of kicking off on Twitter and stuff towards Amanda and the consortium and this, that, and the other a little bit, and then Howe came in and everything's calmed down again. I'd hate to think if we didn't get deals done the first few weeks that fans started turning on them.
Yeah,
which you can almost sense it. Like,
good point.
You can almost sense them. You know what they're like. They're the best fans in the world, but the most impatient at times as well. So,
sorry, Rich, go on.
I was going to say, just because obviously we'll come towards the end of the show, there's about 5 minutes left. Just to close out on this topic, Daz, if you can keep a count on points or what we go through, we discuss this, right? We've said that we need to be in touch and distance when it gets to January. Yeah. So if we look at the round of fixtures that everyone's got, we'll just take a look at the teams that are around us at the moment. Okay. So in round 17 of fixtures, which is obviously what's going on midweek here, Norwich have got Villa and are currently losing 1-0. Leeds are losing 3-0 at Man City. Burnley and Watford play each other tomorrow night. So to me personally, on that one, I think the ideal result for us would probably be a draw. I don't know what you two think of that.
Yeah.
No,
just a draw. Yeah. And you've got Everton going to Chelsea, which I don't think they'll get anything at Chelsea. And if you want to look at Southampton as well, who are in and around that sort of neck of the woods as well, they go to Palace, and I don't think they'll be getting anything against Palace either. I don't know if anyone else thinks that either Everton or Southampton will get anything.
No.
Yes, no?
I agree with you.
So, Carl, you seem to be pondering something different there.
I just you can't predict. It's hard to predict, isn't it? But it's just no one knows. No one knows what's going to happen to it, really.
No, but that, I think I said it before. I'm sorry. I know, Richie, you're doing a big mad calculation here. we need a spreadsheet for this. But I think
no, I'm not doing a spreadsheet.
no. I just think that we are, as Carson, no one knows what's happened, but no one knows as well what's going to happen in the transfer window. We're talking about names there. None of those names might be right. They're going to go after someone completely different, even better than what we've talking about. Could be worse than what we're talking about, or maybe they just accept that we're going down. And then the fans will turn, for sure, Carl. But no, they're here. They're not here to piss about here. They're here to make a go of this, and they're going to try everything to stay up.
There was a point. There was a point before, and it just said we're 3 points off getting out of trouble. It just goes to show how bad the bottom of the league is. We've only won 1 game, and we're not cut a bit. So
exactly.
Keep your head up. Let's keep going, because you know what? We should be well cut adrift, and we're not. We've only won 1 game, so we've got to be positive. We have got to be positive because we're bad.
I think there's a mini league of 6 down the bottom, and we need to be in the top half of that 6. That's all we need to be concerned about this rest of the season.
Richie, you touched on them fixtures, didn't you, in January? The run of fixtures is a good hand of cards, but they're great fixtures. So where we are come the start of January, players wise coming in, leaves us where if we can get a few players in, and then like you said, them run of games are really, really good and winnable. But,
and lads, as Geordie Tune for Life is saying that trust me, we won't go down. But if we stay up, if we manage to stay up, we will never have to worry about this again. We always knew that this was dodgy this season, whether we stay up or not. Even though when the takeover went through, we said, "Oh, our worries are over." We were just kind of in the back of our minds going, "Yeah, but what about this season?" Because we knew we couldn't bring anyone in until January. But this is the last time we have to go through this. Let's just one more little miracle to keep us up, and then we're set.
Fingers crossed,
Yeah. But no, I agree with what Carl said. That run of fixtures in January is imperative. If in January we play Southampton, Watford, and Leeds. So if realistically, you've got to be trying to look to get at least 7 points out of those 9, in my opinion, and that all of a sudden makes it more positive going forward. And then you go into games against Everton and Villa straight after that. So both at St James's, which are in my opinion, winnable.
Yeah,
cool lads. I think we'll bring the show to a close. I just want to tell people as well that first of all to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and my little arrow there should point down where that it's now a red subscribe button is if you haven't hit it already. And the other thing I wanted to say is tomorrow night at 7:00, Away Days is back. And I'll give you my little banner here again. So Away Days is back with Pete and Chris, and they're joined by the Anfield Wrap. So talking about the Liverpool game on Thursday. So tune into the lads for that. That should be very interesting, and let's look forward to that one. And also just for a shout out as well, as I mentioned about subscribing, you know what to do. I'm not even going to bore you anymore. That's it really for tonight. Carl, thanks for joining us. Dave, thanks for coming back. Your debut on Loaded Mag and Live Line. We'll have to get you back again. And thanks for everyone in the chat as well. And the lads will see you tomorrow, and we'll be back on Friday as well. We're in negotiations with guests at the moment. Difficult to secure people before Christmas. We have some top guests lined up over the next coming weeks. I'm not going to say when, but we don't know when ourselves. But there are some big names to come. But thanks everyone for joining us, and we should see you later. Good night.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, lads.